Hello and welcome back to AC's Make and Repair. Today I want to show you just a simple way that I sharpen my wood chisels. A nice sharp chisel is great for doing joinery, and a blunt chisel is a nuisance. So I've got just a handful of chisels here that have been sharpened over the years, and a couple of them have got a bit grubby, some have got nicks out of the blade. I have one plain blade to sharpen, and just like I said, I've got about 3 or 4 other chisels to sharpen today. I'm going to be using a bench grinder as well as an oil stone. This is an oil stone in an oil stone box. I made this box many years ago when I went through TAFE college. It's one of the things that we did when you went through trade college of any sort. And it was just made on a chisel mortising machine. We chisel mortised that out. And this is a double-sided stone. And good care of a stone, it'll last you a long time if you look after it well. But that's one of the oil stones we're going to use. Also, this is a Makita. It's a very fine grit stone. We may use it, I don't know yet, depending on how the edge comes up. Only if I really want a really fine edge, but generally I can get a razor sharp where you could shave with it on a fine oil stone. I will be using some baby oil. The reason I'll use baby oil is it's a mineral oil. Vegetable oils of different types can clog up your stone and make it sort of gummy. So if you can use a mineral oil, that is far better. This is, like I say, this is a baby oil. It is a mineral oil. If you haven't got that, you can use honing oil if you can get it. A light sewing machine oil would do the job. WD-40 or Kero, it seems to soak into your stone too quick. You need something as a lubricant as well as to float your shavings off as you go. Alright, so I'm going to take you through what I do. I'm not saying it's 100% correct, but it's what I do when I sharpen my chisels, and I'll show you how to do that now. You can use a bench grinder like this if you need to grind your chisel edge back square and to remove any deep nicks or back rounded edges like on this chisel blade here. If you do use a fine stone like this, I recommend you have a tin or something full of water and regularly dip the end of your chisel blade in that water to keep it cool. You don't want to go in blue or purple and overheating it. That will subsequently soften your chisel edge. Getting your angle. The recommendations for angle on chisel edges are roughly 30 degrees. 25 degrees to 30, well, if you go to a mortise chisel, it can be up to 40 degrees, which is fairly steep. But generally, if you stick around the 25-30 degree angle, if you want to be pedantic about it, get yourself a protractor and sort of put it in there like that. And check your angle. This one's angle is pretty well spot on. I probably guessed that angle years ago or whenever I did that grinding last. I tend to only grind when I need to. So you can do it on a bench grinder like this. You'll have to hold that angle right. If you get that angle right, start off, put your finger down there on the rest and you can slide it square. Have a square handy, just check your angle for square. But today I made up a guide on another grinder I have with water running over it. It's not a whetstone as such, it's on another bench grinder, and it works really great to keep that angle nice and square and get a beautiful finish. And then we only have to hone it down on the oil stone. So I'll show you how I do that now. This is a bench grinder I set up many years ago for this purpose of grinding. I've got some buffing mops on one end. I do buff with some buffing compound. In between my honing and etc. on chisels, especially on little carving chisels, buffing is unbelievable for little carving chisels and even turning chisels. You can keep a razor sharp polished edge with buffing and some compound. So we're going to go through and I'll show you how I set up. This is a little jig that I've made up. It subsequently slides backwards and forwards on this bar, which runs parallel with the face of the stone. Now I've made that so that will touch the stone on the right angle. I'll try to zoom in if I can. I just have to lower my blade here. So with the jig set up, I adjusted it so the existing bevel was touching the stone right there. Right there. So that worked really, really well. I might just give you a drawing of that. So this description, or this diagram I should say, shows you the chisel blade coming in, and I set it up with the angle corresponding with the grinding wheel, like that. I knew the angle was close to 30 degrees, so I lined it up with the existing angle. If the angle's way out, I might adjust it. But I only got 2 chisels to do today. I'll set them up the same way, and I'll run them square to the stone, the chisel blade, so the chisel will be ground dead square at the end. So I have a little drip feed. It's got a simple little garden sprinkler tap on the top, and it drips onto that stone, and I will start it up, and it just drips on it regularly, so it keeps the blade nice and cool while I'm grinding. I'll show you how I do it. Okay, I'll just show you what I'm doing when I am grinding it, and this is what I'm effectively doing. Just put the dripper on. So there we have it. The end of it is round, nice and clean. That is actually feathered on the back now. You could actually just run that back edge on an oil stone, and that would be razor sharp, that edge. You can see the feathered edge here right now. If I run my finger on there like that, I could just, like I say, strop that a bit, and that would be razor sharp now. So I'll set up the other one and do it now. Like I say, square that angle there so it runs nice and square at the end. Now that's all you need. It's taken all the nicks out that I needed taken out. This one's going to take a bit more. The angle was bad and it was very rounded over in the back edge. And there we have that one there too. Nice angle. Got a feather on the back of it too, so I know I've gone far enough. So now for the honing process. With the stone clamped down firmly to a firm surface. You don't want a surface that shakes around. All I do is I put a couple of drops of baby oil on like that. I take my chisel, make sure it's clean from all the rubbish. First thing I do is take that back barrel off the back. Now, this is the one I just sharpened. You can see I have shiny witness here and here, but not on the top edge. So I need to lap that back a little bit like this. Try to use the full length of your stone to do that, so you're not wearing one spot of your stone. No, it's still not witnessing. See, it's shiny there and there, but not at the edge where I need it to be shiny. Dead flat on your stone. Getting very close now. Very good. Now, I could actually stop there with this particular chisel. It is razor sharp. I can tell just gently by touching it with my finger. It is very, very sharp. More than sharp enough probably for what I do. See? It's really, really quite good. So no need. I might just do a little bit of a run on the top just to take this little bit of a feather on the top I feel there. How you do that? Find your angle, bring it down, touch the stone, rock it just a little bit so you can feel the flat ground area. Then raise it slightly, just ever so slightly, so you're touching that front leading edge. Then do a figure eight process like this on your stone. Now in this case, brand new ground edge, so you don't want to do it too much. That feather's gone on the back again. Put it back down there, just one wipe. Then lift it up like that. Don't push it down like that. When you do that back wipe, or the front, always lift it up like that. Don't still a bit of a burr there. You need to remove that burr. There we go. Nice razor sharp chisel. All right, that's one. Now this other one here, I didn't have to grind it. It'll only take just a simple lap. Just a simple lap, same process again. Spread a bit of oil on your stone. Bring it down, rock it up so you can feel your flat on the ground flat. Lift it up ever so slightly past that ground flat like that. Then do your figure eights. Now you say, why do you do figure eights? You can do small figure eights like this if you want. Doesn't matter. I use the hole on my stone. That way the stone is getting used. You know, like I see blokes going backwards and forwards. They wear a trench in their stone. You're better off using the whole of your stone. Okay, so that's that one. I'll just do the back of it. Same deal there. Very sharp. Okay, so this is the other one I ground. Alright, find it, rock it until you feel a flat, lift it up slowly. Do your figure eights. Keep that angle all the time. It is a motion you get used to. It's not something that comes overnight. The back needs a bit more, I think, because you can see a little bit of dirty spot there, so that means it's not dead flat. It needs to be dead flat. It's not too bad. Not too bad. Now, if you're doing a plain blade, this one only just needs touching up too. It's not nicked or anything like that. Same thing, bit of oil on the back shoulder, but you can just run it back and forwards like that. Okay, bring it over. Feel your edge. Quite a steep angle on this particular plane. Here we go. Here's the process. Just keep that blade the same angle. Do your figure eight. Okay, now take it over. Do your runs on your back. Lift it up. Not really satisfied with that. I think I'll go to a finer stone there, but a bit wider. Okay, so I'm going to use the Makita stone. These stones were actually made years ago to go with your Makita electric planer when they had high-speed steel blades. And this is what you use to hone your planer blades. the old high-speed steel blades, but they're a beautiful, nice, fine stone. And this one's in quite good condition still. Okay, so we put a bit of oil on that. We can do the back first, doesn't matter if you want to make sure. Just swallowed me oil, it did. So I'm going to need a bit more oil than that. You can use soapy water too, that's another thing you can use. Okay, I find my angle, which is about there. And I keep my angle of the blade very, very good. Not wavering it up and down like this. It has to stay parallel. I mean, on the same angle. You can't not have it on the same angle. Okay, so I've done that. Bring it down and rub it like that to get the burr off the back. And that's quite good for what I'll be doing with it. I know there's guys out there that say it's not razor sharp, all that sort of stuff, and they've got the fancy jigs and all that. Look, tradesmen for years, probably a couple 100 years, have been using an oil stone and honing their blades, and very rarely put it on a grinder. The only reason I used a grinder before in those two, they had nicks, and one had a really rounded back on it. It was a bit abused, really. I'd used it on a job that didn't do it any good. Occasionally I've got an old chisel that I use for doing the stuff that you wouldn't do with a good chisel, that's for sure. Alright, so that's how I do grinding and honing of my chisels. Like I say, I'm not saying it's the only way to do it. Some people use a belt sander or a lanishing tool to do the original grind back of all your nicks, etc. Some people use whetstone setups with a jig on it too. They're quite good too, some of those. Some people use diamond stones and other sort of synthetic grit stones too, to do their honing on. It's entirely up to you. The method with the figure eights, I find, uses your stone incomplete. Doesn't let your stone hollow too much in the middle. That stone, the old in the wooden box there, has got a slight hollow, but if you work your stone evenly in a good figure of eight, and then if you alternate your figure of eights even to the middle of your stone, you can wear your stone quite evenly throughout the time and preserve your stone life. So I hope that's been a help to you. This is just for plain bench chisels, or I think they call it firmer chisels. And this is just an old plain blade out of a plane I use, and it doesn't have to be flash, but it brought it up nice and sharp. As you can see, there's a nice shiny edge on the back. That indicates to me it's right, because it's nice and sharp on the front and the back's nice and flat. All right, thanks for joining me on that one. I hope you liked it. I would ask if you could please like and subscribe. That would help our channel beyond measure. And even if you could suggest it to friends, that would be a great help too. Thanks for joining us, and bye for now.